So if you want to measure within Blender like an engineer, you can do the following. You can add a caliper. So we see over here a caliper. If I will select this, we're going to see that this will be functional. So in order to measure, for example, the exterior diameter over here, all I have to do is select the caliper and move it within position. So I can slide it on the x-axis. I can slide it up and down within the local y-axis in this case. And I can also move it over here towards the part. So I want to measure that. I will now slightly move this upward. And now I want to clip it over here. So therefore on the x-axis, I will move it all the way over here. Once this will clip that part. So somewhere over here, we're going to see that line. And with the other one, I will just move it close onto X. And if you're gonna read this, this will be around, let's say 19.3 or 4 millimeters. So this is one solution, and this will be quite similar to the functionality within a CAD solution. But this is not really, let's say, that interactive and easy to use, as we need to manually manipulate a digital caliper within the scene. If I will just swap over here within CATIA, if you're not familiar with CATIA, this is a CAD solution, mostly used for computer-aided design and reverse engineering. And I have the same engine cover over here added. And if I want to do some measurements over here, I can use the workbench entitled Quick Surface Reconstruction. I can go over here and define a basic surface that will be recognized. In this case, I want to measure, for example, over here, I can do either a cone or a cylinder. This will have a conic shape, but if I just want to measure one radius, I can easily go with the cylinder. I can select it. I can click over here to activate it. And now I will need to probe some elements. So for example, I will probe a point over there, one point over here. And if you're going to add multiple points, the measurement will be a lot better. Afterwards, I can click OK, and I can go in this case with a cylinder. I will click apply, and we're going to receive a cylinder defined over there, and we're going to read the radius. So in this case, this will be, the radius will be 10 millimeters. So over here within Blender, I do the measure over here. So onto the top section over here. If I want to, I can reactivate this, and I can either select all or I can swap, so I won't have anything selected. And let's do the measurement similar to the one within Blender. So I will probe those points over here. If I will click OK, if I will hit apply, we're gonna see that now the radius will be around 9.5 over here. So this is how we can easily measure within a CAD solution. We also have a tool over here. So this is measure item. This is a caliper. As we can see, this will not be in 3D. We're just going to have that icon. But I have the possibility to move this around. And based on that cylinder, I can quickly read that dimension. So we see that 19.1 millimeter over here. If you also want to do some similar measurements within Blender 4.2, Blender added a new add-on. So if you're going to go up to Edit, afterwards Preferences, within the Get extension, you will first have to enable Blender to have access to the repository for the extension on Blender. So over here, you should enable that. And you can see a lot of add-ons over here. So these are all the add-ons that are pre-installed within Blender. Not really pre-installed, but they are pre-activated, so you just need to install those. The measure will be measure it, so this will be that extension. And after you enable that, you're gonna see it over here within the add-ons, and you can have it enabled or disabled over here. Now, with that enabled, I can just press N. That will open the sidebar. And within the sidebar, if I will go within the view section over here, so by default, maybe you are within item, that will give you general information about the scene and the selected object. And within view, we're gonna see the measure it tools over here. We see that the add measurements is not enabled. That is because I also need to enable that over here. So for example, I will select the mesh, the 3D scan over here. Also, if you wanna use this 3D scan, this will be available in the video description. This is from Artec 3D scan database. And I will select it, and if I will press tab, that will take me to edit mode. So I'm currently within object mode. Tab will take me to edit mode. And within edit mode, we're gonna see those individual vertices over here. And if I wanna do a measurement, for example, for the arc, we have over here within the measure it tools, I will need again to probe some points, some vertex over here. So I selected that, I will hold down shift, I will select one roughly onto that same, let's say, plane over here, and one over here. This is a little bit upwards, but it should be fine for the case study. And if I will go now for arc, we're gonna see that the measurement will be added. So we have that radius of 9.07 millimeters. If I will zoom out, I will see it better. If I will press tab, this will take me back to the object mode, and we're no longer gonna see the wireframe of the model, and we can easily see that radius over there. So we see the radius 9.7 millimeters. If I will jump over here back to CATIA, we're gonna see over here a slight difference between those, but this is how you can do some measurements within this. Let me just try to probe this once again, because as we can see over here, that cylinder is roughly not aligned with the scan. So I just want to see, because the measurements between those two solutions should be a lot more similar. We shouldn't have that deviation. So I'll just probe some points slightly over here on the top. And if I will choose the cone in this case, I will click OK. We see that there is no cone detected, because I also need to define some other points that will help CATIA define that. So I will select some points over here onto the lower plane. If I will click OK, and afterwards again click that, we're gonna see how CATIA will roughly generate this cone. So it didn't manage to properly define that. I will just go for cylinder, and we have that cylinder. Now, since I have all of those points, this is a little bit offset, but we see the mean radius value over here. So let me just select all, swap all, and add some points over here, and we're just gonna go for a simple cylinder. I will hit apply, and we're gonna see the mean radius over here, 9.3. So compare that to Blender, where we have 9.07. We still have a little bit of deviation between those, but overall, I think that this is a good solution. So I will also present a video where I'm gonna do some reverse engineering within Blender, and I will show you what are the main advantages of Blender, because in some cases, Blender can do things that CAD solutions such as CATIA won't be able to do, and that's really interesting, considering that Blender is a free and open source software. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this content. I will position a similar video over here on the left side and a subscribe button to the right. So that's it. Thanks for watching.